From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Tisha Bader.
Hi, this is Micah Halpern sitting in for Tisha Bader, and here is the JBS News Update for Thursday, February 17th, 2022. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke before the Knesset plenum yesterday as part of her visit to Jerusalem. With her Israeli counterpart, Miki Levy, the Knesset Speaker, standing right next to her, Speaker Pelosi told the Knesset, "The U.S. remains ironclad, I keep using that word, in our support of Israel's security and its regional stability." Speaking in the Knesset Chagall Hall, Pelosi emphasized that Israel and the United States remain concerned about the same threat from Iran and its proxies. She said, "We are together in the fight against terrorism posed by Iran, both in the region and also in its nuclear development. The nuclear threat of Iran is a global one. Israel's proximity to Iran is of concern to all of us." Pelosi also reconfirmed the commitment of the United States to a two-state solution. In her words, "Our delegation is also here to reaffirm America's commitment to a just and enduring two-state solution, one that enhances stability and security for Israel, Palestinians, and their neighbors." This Democratic congressional delegation was an impressive powerhouse. It included Adam Schiff of California, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Barbara Lee, also a Californian, chairwoman of the Subcommittee on Foreign Operations, Ted Deutsch of Florida, who chairs the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Middle East. Israel is in the news. That's not news. What is news, however, is when the news about Israel is nice news, pleasant news, good news. Most of the good news emanating about Israel is about technology, but not this time. Travel and Leisure magazine, arguably the go-to website and magazine for those who love to read about travel and travelers who want to pre-plan and specialize their itineraries, just named the Dead Sea as the #1 healing destination. According to Travel and Leisure, besides its breathtaking views, the Dead Sea is known to have healing powers, from the black mud that can be lathered on the skin for peeling or easing of skin conditions such as psoriasis, and up to natural power to cure asthma, joint inflammation, osteoporosis, and other health complications. Travel and Leisure also explained the unique tanning phenomenon that exists in the lowest location on Earth. At 400 meters under sea level, the UV rays are filtered through evaporation layers above the Dead Sea, the ozone layer, and another atmospheric layer. It's said that this means that the tanners can enjoy the benefits of vitamin D from the sun rays, with less risk of getting sunburnt or suffering skin diseases later on. A quick look at the other 3 locations to make up the top healing destination list will impress you. Number 2 was Japan's Yakushima Island, with its 2,000 to 5,000-year-old trees, is a deeply spiritual location. The Benimi's Healing Hole in the Bahamas was number 3. Number 4 was Taojo's Cliente in Mexico, with its mineral healing pools. The Dead Sea was number 1. It's becoming apparent that more and more people in Gaza are just fed up with Hamas and their leadership in Gaza. Hashtag They Kidnap Gaza is a campaign on social media that is making headway among Gazans. In a tweet about Hamas leadership, Saad Abdallah tweeted, "Thieves can't build a state that takes care of the interests of its people, just as they can't liberate an occupied homeland." On his Facebook page, Amin Abed of Gaza posted, "Gaza is the only place in the world where, when you go forward, you go backwards, thanks to its rulers." He explained that the campaign is intended to make the ruler, in other words Hamas, aware of its responsibilities after reaching an unbearable level of injustice and deterioration in all aspects of life. Gazans who tweet and post about Hamas in unflattering ways and critical language are putting their lives and their families' lives at risk. They may be arrested or even murdered for speaking against Hamas. But they're willing to take that risk because that's how very much they want change. The United States is going to purchase new Israeli defense technology, drone boats. Drone boats are manned vessels that are controlled by operators with joysticks sitting miles or even tens of miles away from the vessels they're taking. The drones are armed and they are outfitted with exceptionally sophisticated video equipment that sends back real-time messages and images. Unmanned drone boats are similar to aerial drones in that they can observe and attack without risk of any troops. They can also just sit quietly and watch. Those are the big bonuses in terms of defense technology. And like flying drones, these vary in size depending on their speciality, and it's all from Israel, all Israeli technology. And now, a look at this evening's programming on JBS. At 7, it's Talmud Study. At 7:30, Ellie Cohanim speaks with Bonnie Glick, former USAID Deputy Administrator, who discusses confronting the CCP under the Trump administration, why Chinese victory in the race to 5G poses a great risk of global human rights violations, and more. At 8, Jonathan Tobin discusses the lie that Jews are stealing land from the Palestinians in Israel, and then is joined by the City of David's Doron Spielman to discuss archeology, Jewish history, and telling the truth about the past. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with the cast members of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on L'chaim. At 10, Rabbi Erez Sherman speaks with Dave Sims, Seattle Mariners play-by-play broadcaster and college basketball and football analyst, about the intersection of sports and faith. And coming up next, it's Good Week Israel. This is Micah Halpern and the JBS News Update. I want to wish everyone a good evening.